Less than a year ago, Clavicular went from a niche looks-maxing forum user to one of the most talked-about streamers on the internet. He'd convinced a huge following of young men that you could engineer your way to a perfect body, a perfect face, and a perfect life. And he sold himself as living proof it worked. Then he was forced to stop faking it, and the whole thing came apart in a single month. He OD'd live on stream and ended up on life support. He finally quit the testosterone he'd been on since he was 14, and the body he'd sold to millions collapsed into a meme almost overnight. An ex sued him, accusing him of assault and injecting her with an unapproved drug on a live stream while she was underage. Both of his YouTube channels got terminated. He got kicked out of the Miami club he'd risked everything to be part of, and he got caught buying the followers that made him look big in the first place. Because here's the thing about Clavicular. The body was fake, the numbers were fake, the success was fake, and the second he stopped performing, there was almost nothing left underneath. This is the story of how the fakest creator on the internet ended up ruining his own life, in public and in real time.
Rescue 16 trying to respond, 20-year-old male, overdose.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be diving into the extraordinarily fake career of Clavicular, and how everything finally seems to be falling apart for him. We'll look at how he uses controversy and clippers to artificially keep his career afloat, the conspiracies around who's secretly backing his operations, and why, despite the success, his current style of content is ruining his life. Clavicular, aka Braden Eric Peters, is what happens when people get indoctrinated by incel ideology, particularly looks-maxing culture, at a very young age. At the age of 14, Clavicular was so obsessed with the idea of optimizing his appearance that he'd spend dozens of hours a day on looks-maxing forums and experimented with various testosterone supplements.
Take me back to 14-year-old Braden. What was the exact moment you decided that natural puberty wasn't enough?
I thought, why would I work out as a natural, take years to make the progress that I can make in months? It didn't make sense to me at all. I was never worried about side effects, I was just worried about progressing.
That all-or-nothing mentality came to define Clavicular's approach to being a content creator, as he engaged in increasingly dangerous and degenerate lifestyle choices to optimize both his looks and virality. Initially, he sold courses and created content that encouraged viewers to have potentially harmful medical procedures to improve their facial structure and height. Not long after, Clavicular started taking illicit substances as a way to enhance his physique and regulate his mood while he was out IRL streaming.
Now, I will tell you guys the real truth. I don't know if I'm being a snitch. I've never seen someone snort meth ever in real life. I literally witnessed Clav snort meth. Literally. Witnessed it. And I didn't know how to feel. I did not know how to feel.
Speaking of streams, Clavicular made it a point to partake in any and every opportunity to be a complete degenerate for the sake of farming clips. He'd talk down to women, inject his girlfriend with fat-melting peptides, and collaborate with the most offensive IRL streamers like Jack Doherty and Neon.
You're you!
Oh,
I'm me? You're like meaning like you embrace yourself.
You have lip fillers too.
I'm poor. I don't have no lip filler. I broke my lip.
Yeah, you have lip fillers. Come on. Don't lie to me.
I'm a
No. Clavicular's brand is built on two things: presenting himself as an authority figure in personal improvement, and flaunting his looks at clubs and parties. Beyond those factors, Clavicular doesn't really have that much else that makes him an entertaining creator. So, to keep viewers engaged, Clavicular is always looking for the next daring thing he can do on stream. This is why in my last video on him, I said Clavicular's downfall was almost guaranteed if he continued on his current path. Well, it seems I was right. On the 24th of December 2025, Clavicular was repeatedly harassed by a stream sniper while he was IRL streaming. This wasn't the first time this particular individual invaded Clavicular's stream, and he was already fed up with people messing with his stream, especially after being swatted a few days prior.
Everyone's always talking about the energy, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's hands right now. Everybody's hands right now. Hands up. Everybody hands. Hands. Get back. Get back. Everybody else get back. Get down to the ground. Get back, sir. Get down to the ground. Everybody's hands out.
Put your hands out straight. Put your hands out straight.
Are you guys calling the police?
Regardless, the way Clavicular intended to handle the problem was bound to make things worse.
Yeah, I know the best course of action, but I want to kill each and every one of these guys.
In GTA.
No, I want to.
Well,
Instead of avoiding the stalker or calling the police, Clavicular decided it would be better to just run the guy over after he jumped on his hood. A normal person would have been horrified after potentially committing vehicular manslaughter, but Clavicular didn't seem at all that bothered, and he even hoped the stream sniper was dead.
Is he dead? I don't know. Hopefully.
After calling the police to report the incident, Clavicular was pulled over by bystanders and questioned about why he just drove over another human being. He responded by framing his hazardous driving as self-defense by claiming the stalker and people around his car were armed.
No, you don't know. There's armed people surrounding my car. Yeah, and they're armed. They all have pistols. They all have pistols. So. Well, the ones with pistols, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all unregistered guns.
Thankfully, the stalker was still alive and only had some injuries. However, that didn't mean Clavicular was off the hook yet, as his kick page was banned that night, and the possibility of serious legal repercussions was still hanging over his head.
Clav.
Yo.
Hey.
My streams, I got banned on kick. I don't know.
No, they didn't ban you. Listen, I'm live. Don't worry. Like, you need to just go on IG live. You need to be live, okay? You need to be recording something, okay? You need to be live for this.
I'm recording.
Okay. What are they saying they're gonna detain you?
They haven't spoken to me yet, but I'm not gonna say anything without
a lawyer. Correct. Just do not say.
Anyone?
Yes, of course I do. Look, just hang tight, record, don't say anything. Don't answer questions, and just don't say anything, okay? I let it play out, but you need to be recording. Somebody needs to record you.
The whole thing's being recorded, but
Don't worry about that. Yes, I know what you need, and trust me, yes, I got you.
Speaking of legal matters, you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent history verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for the case. With that being said, let's get right back into the video. In the days that followed, Clavicular swung between making fun of what happened and trying to sound sympathetic to mitigate any future charges. However, since he had already gotten his kick page back and hadn't heard from law enforcement, Clavicular wasn't too keen on taking the situation seriously. Fortunately for Clavicular, the new year brought with it the confirmation that he wasn't going to be charged.
Dubs in the chat. Holy fuck.
In many ways, Clavicular got everything he wanted out of the situation. No legal backlash, the stream sniper left him alone, and the clips of the altercation were going viral. So much so that people who had never heard of Clavicular were getting bombarded with news of his antics. How this guy is relevant is stunning. I didn't hear of him until then, and now I see him mentioned everywhere. The Cybertruck incident rapidly became somewhat of a calling card for Clavicular, as he and his viewers would frequently reference it on stream.
I've broken up with girls for a lot less than that, to tell you the truth.
There was a person under there.
Oh my God, bro. We gotta actually, I knew I should have said, no, Neon, let's just stay in the other black truck and not done this.
The fact he had simultaneously gotten away with running someone over and received a massive surge in popularity gave Clavicular the impression that he was invincible to the consequences of his antics. In his mind, doing outrageous things on stream and drumming up controversies were the best way he could prolong his time in the limelight. What people were saying about him or what he did to get them talking didn't matter to Clavicular. He wanted to be the center of attention without offering anything of substance. Creating the illusion of importance through online discourse was Clavicular's way of sustaining his career as an influencer. Clavicular was playing with fire, and unfortunately, it was only a matter of time before he got burned. From early January to mid-June 2026, Clavicular took every possible opportunity to generate controversy for the sake of staying at the forefront of people's minds. In January, he went on a number of streams with some of the manosphere's most divisive influencers. With names like Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, and Andrew Tate on his streams, Clavicular didn't have to worry about where his next controversial clip was going to come from. However, one particular stream would end up causing a lot more trouble than he expected. During an IRL stream at a club in Miami, Clavicular and a few of the major figureheads of Red Pill content decided to jam to Kanye West's controversial HH song.
They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
Following that night out, Clavicular faced a massive wave of negativity from the Jewish community, and in response to some of the backlash he was getting, Clavicular had this to say: "It's just a song. No problem with rap songs about drugs and murder though." Online hate was going to be the least of Clavicular's worries, as he'd also been banned from almost every club and restaurant in Miami.
I know how to take a joke.
You know I'm genuinely banned from like everything.
No way.
Like I tried.
Hold on. So you literally cannot walk into a. Shut the f up.
Dude, I tried. So I tested it. I tried to get dinner, banned. Tried to go to the club, banned. Tried to go to another club. Literally
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Kiss the wall.
Bro, I might have to.
Just Clav.
Like I'm not. I politics. I'm here for the bit.
I know. Stay here, Clav. I got.
By February 2026, Clavicular was in the headlines again for getting arrested using a fake ID to obtain alcohol and possession of illegal drugs.
It's gonna be fine. I mean, everything was done properly.
After being taken into custody, viewers thought he'd be facing some serious time behind bars, since some of his charges were felonies. Fortunately for Clavicular, law enforcement would later drop the charges due to, quote, "no reasonable likelihood of conviction," and released him from prison. As soon as he got out, Clav used the momentum from the news of his arrest to promote his debut at a fashion show. No matter how much trouble Clavicular puts himself in, he somehow finds a way to avoid facing consequences. However, it seems Clavicular wasn't satisfied with causing problems in his own life and wanted to cause chaos in other people's lives as well. Despite seemingly being in a relationship, Clavicular had developed a habit of seeking out other women in clubs and taking them back to his house. As strange as it sounds, his girlfriend was aware of his actions and didn't seem to make an effort to stop him. So much so that some of the girls he'd bring over would question whether he was in an open relationship.
Is it an open relationship?
No. Like, what are you
Just
trying to say?
asking, because you were getting spam called like 5 minutes ago by somebody.
Well, what kind of man do you think I am?
If you guys are in an open relationship, you can say that.
What does that even mean? It's
It
not
means
real.
that you're together, but you guys allow each other to get with other people.
Each other? What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, it's weird as fuck, but I'm asking you if that's what you're in.
You're gross.
The girl in the car was the creator Jenny Popach, and the pair were on their way to Clavicular's place. However, before they arrived, he had some foreboding questions to ask her, particularly a question relating to his girlfriend, Violet Lentz.
Who would win in a fight? You or Violet?
It's your stream, Clav. Why don't you answer? I probably have more adrenaline. Adrenaline.
Unfortunately for Jenny, she was about to find out why Clavicular was asking such a strange question, as her and Violet would be involved in a full-out brawl a few minutes after reaching the Airbnb.
You let your boyfriend walk! Stop your thoughts! Get out! I'm gonna do not touch me! I'm gonna drag you! Do not touch me! Yo, you're gonna drag! You have to do it!
In the aftermath of the fight, Clavicular and Violet tried to paint Jenny as the aggressor.
Broke into my house when we were supposed to collab at 12 p.m., didn't arrive till 3 a.m. We were asleep, and she literally came to my house and went through all our shit, did not wake us up with her mother that scratches her ass and smells it, which I thought was for the camera. I literally thought that was for the clickbait, but I watched her do it. I saw her mother do it with my own 2 eyes. So that's that.
Clavicular in particular claimed that he and his security were trying to break up the fight, but things got, quote, out of hand.
We were just trying to break it up, I'm not gonna lie. Anything that happened, I don't know, I have to watch the VOD, but me and Joe were trying to break that shit up, okay? It got a little out of hand, so me and Joe were trying to break that shit up, but yeah, way too far, man.
A few days later, Jenny published her side of the story, and it revealed some very important details that Clavicular and Violet left out. Jenny claims they orchestrated the entire situation for the sake of getting clips. They apparently invited Jenny over to make content and gave no indication that her presence would be a problem.
Violet is a 26-year-old woman who was clear as day envious and jealous of me since the day I walked into his life. I never knew anything about her. He never spoke about her. He never made it apparent that he was in a relationship. And that being besides the point, because I was not interested in him like that. I was there to be friends and do a stream, and I was invited there on their behalf. They wanted me there. Clearly that ties into me being set up. I was under the impression that we were going to go to Disney World and then go to a pop-up meetup that he had going on, and I was going to go home. On the ride back, and this is why it's set up, he continuously asked me, do you think you could win my girlfriend in a fight? Do you think you would win in a fight with Violet? Who do you think would win? Do you want to fight her? To which I responded, I'm not interested in getting in between you and your girlfriend.
However, once she got to the Airbnb they were staying at, Violet completely changed her attitude towards Jenny and began antagonizing her.
She comes up to me, very aggressive, very intentional, like she knew this was what she was supposed to do, this was planned. She's basically in my face saying in front of everyone that I want her man and what am I doing with him and that I'm a fake ass bitch and all these things, and to which I responded and stood my ground and defended myself, because never let yourself get humiliated, never let somebody try you when you're especially not in the wrong. And I defended myself and I said, you let your boyfriend have sex with other women, what kind of woman are you? You have no self-respect, you act very like this is weird. I just could not believe that she was coming for me and not every other girl that was on his live stream the day before. She did not do this to any other girl that he was with on live stream. So I knew I was being targeted.
Jenny went on to explain that she tried to avoid the confrontation by moving away from Violet and exiting the building. Moments later, Clavicular comes out to check what's going on, but instead of de-escalating the situation, he intensifies it. According to Jenny, he stopped his security guard from breaking up the fight and stated he wanted to see his girlfriend fight her.
And pointed me that way. He was just repeatedly like pointing, and then she's coming around from the other side to corner me, and then his security guard is there. And I have this on video. Clavicular stopped his security guard from breaking up the fight. He encouraged the fight to happen, and he put his hand out and he pushed his security guard out of the whole scene. He told us, essentially told his security guard, let my girlfriend fight her. He does this twice in the fight. Basically in the attack, I got attacked. I repeatedly said to her, do not touch me, and to him too, do not touch me, do not touch me, do not touch me. She puts her phone down and she starts grabbing me and she says, I'm gonna drag you, I'm gonna drag you. Mind you, this is all her problem. This is all her boyfriend's fault.
The only time Clavicular and his security guard intervened in the fight was when they noticed Violet was losing the fight. They proceeded to grab Jenny's arms and legs and attempted to throw her out of the house.
Both of my wrists, he has my wrist just like this, okay? A grown man grabbing me and pulling me off of his girlfriend, and you can see her getting dragged because I was not letting go of her hair. I'm like kicking her, and he pulls me up and he holds me up and he doesn't let me go. He doesn't let me go, and I have the security guard on my legs trying to grab my legs because they want to throw me out of the house after they started a fight with me.
Now, Clavicular didn't face any real backlash or consequences for enabling such a violent incident, but the law would catch up to him and Violet in time. However, before any of that could happen, Clavicular wanted to commit one more atrocity on stream. On the 26th of March 2026, during a 30-day streaming marathon, Clavicular and a few other creators went out boating in the Florida Everglades. After a couple minutes of speeding and messing with firearms, the group spotted an alligator floating in the water. While they could have done the sensible thing by just observing the animal and going on their way, Clavicular decided it would be more entertaining to discharge their firearms into the creature.
Sure.
Granted, the animal was deceased before they got there, but that didn't negate the fact that what they did was a crime. They were unlawfully discharging a firearm in a public space, and to make matters worse, the discharge rounds were into a protected species. Although, it seems the animal wasn't Clavicular's only intended target, as he'd also fire randomly into the area with little regard for the safety of other people nearby.
Am I tripping or I just heard somebody out there?
But yeah, what? Who's screaming?
Yo, hold on, there's people screaming.
Oh, you shot somebody?
Yo, stop. There's actually people there. What the fuck? Or go, shoot again.
No, bro, you could have hit somebody.
Oh! Bro, you guys heard people too.
In response to that stream, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Community opened an investigation into the matter, reading, "The FWC is aware of a video depicting individuals in the Everglades on an airboat who appear to be discharging firearms at an alligator. FWC officers are looking into the incident and will provide additional information when available." Around the same time, Clavicular was getting arrested for an altercation between his girlfriend and Jenny that took place back in February. Apparently, Jenny had previously filed a police report for the battery she suffered at their hands. Regarding Clavicular's side of the case, he was being accused of, quote, instigating a fight between two women, and received misdemeanor battery and criminal conspiracy to commit battery charges, while Violet only received a misdemeanor battery charge. With all the legal trouble Clavicular was in, you'd expect him to be facing some form of immediate punishment, but he only got banned from Kick for about 24 hours, and was released from prison around the same time. In just 3 months, Clavicular was in and out of prison twice, charged with multiple crimes, and is under investigation for a number of other offenses. While this would eventually come back to bite Clavicular later, it was doing wonders for his career as a streamer, from pulling in tens of thousands of viewers every stream to constantly trending on other social media platforms. His popularity even created a resurgence in people's interest in the term looksmaxing. Without a doubt, Clavicular's strategy of constantly creating controversies was working just as intended. Even when he wasn't live streaming and just attending interviews, Clavicular was still trying to do something outrageous with the hopes of generating even more traction. Between late March and early April, Clavicular uprightly ended 2 separate interviews because he felt offended by the interviewer's questions. The first was during an interview with Andrew Callahan of the Channel 5 YouTube page. For the most part, the interview was just Clavicular preaching about how looksmaxing was the gateway to general life satisfaction and success. His reasoning was that good-looking people get treated better socially, and therefore have an easier life.
So the main goal of looksmaxing is not to get girls, it's to feel good about yourself?
No, it's just to be successful in general. It's not about feeling good, it's about real results. And this is a completely objective thing. This isn't my opinion, and it never has just been a subjective thing. It's very, very well researched that in interviews, there's a huge bias towards good-looking people. In dating, obviously a huge bias towards good-looking people. So objectively, you could hate me as a content creator, but realize like the value in what I'm talking about.
So the goal, when you say success, you mean like mostly financial and economic?
Well, really anything. It's hard for me to think of something where looks wouldn't benefit you.
Andrew wanted to find out who Braden Peters was as a person. He'd ask about his childhood hobbies, personal interests, and thoughts on relationships. But for some reason, Clavicular felt shifting the conversation away from looksmaxing was a waste of time.
specific scientific questions about different looks maxing methods.
Well, I mean, just...
And you're not happy with the question about the peptides or the bone smashing or anything like that.
I mean, like, can you not identify like anything that you have a curiosity about? Like, even if you don't give a shit, I mean, like, it would be, like, at least, you know, you put a little bit of effort into.
I think I've done a pretty good interview.
If it's from the context of what you guys reached out was your intention, then I would say that you've done a pretty shitty job.
When it was Clavicular's turn to ask Andrew a few questions, he tried to find out if Andrew shared his assumption that looks maxing was the most important thing in modern society. Based on his reaction, it seems Clavicular didn't like the answer and asked Andrew to leave.
And you take a look in the mirror, you're 100% satisfied with every single thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, dude. All right, well, I guess that's just, if you want to be completely disingenuous, that's fine with me. I guess there's just no point to continue.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The second time Clavicular behaved this way was during his interview with 60 Minutes Australia. Just like before, Clavicular felt offended by the nature of the questions he was asked, mocked the interviewer, and decided the interview wasn't worth his time anymore.
Are you trying to, I see you want to make this political.
Not at all.
No matter what he was doing, Clavicular was never afraid to make a spectacle out of himself with the hopes of gaining more traction and attention. However, it seems a healthy dose of caution would do him good. After all, with the way he was recklessly status maxing, Clavicular was only one mistake away from having his entire life come crashing down. Around the 14th of April 2026, Clavicular went out to IRL stream with his friends, and initially everything seemed normal. They ran around hitting on girls, greeting fans, and taking various substances on and off camera.
At the B-Max. Give me a second.
However, after taking whatever was in that bottle, Clavicular became visibly exhausted and had to be escorted to a nearby bar to catch his breath.
How fuck you? How fuck you? You need
Dude, I'm gone.
Like some water, maybe some water, ice water.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, what's this shit?
Drink a little water here. Drink a little water.
Holy fuck. Holy B. Dude.
How do you feel?
Even though everyone was trying to play it cool on stream, it didn't take long for his friends to realize that Clavicular wasn't doing well, as he gradually became more unresponsive. Upon recognizing that he was having an overdose, they immediately made a 911 call and rushed Clavicular out of the building.
Rescue 16 trying to respond, 20-year-old male overdose. Rescue 16 trying to respond, 20-year-old male overdose.
With the variety and quantity of substances that Clavicular takes both on and off stream, it was inevitable that they would get the better of him. Fortunately, the amount he took this time wasn't fatal, but it was enough to put him on life support for a while. Just got home, that was brutal. All of the substances are just a cope for trying to feel neurotypical while being in public, but obviously that isn't a real solution. The worst part of tonight was my face descending from the life support mask. By the time Clavicular got back to streaming, he seemingly had a change of heart when it came to abusing substances, and announced that he'd no longer be using them to IRL stream. Although this meant he'd no longer be doing those kinds of streams, since he couldn't handle being in public without something to take the edge off.
But yeah, man, I ain't gonna be doing any more substances for a little while. Hopefully for forever. But that means I can't really IRL stream anymore. So that's the thing. I really can't IRL stream. Because as you guys know, I'm quite brutal without that shit.
Clavicular knew cutting out his IRL streams would severely limit his chances of getting viral clips. However, he couldn't help but weigh the options of taking a hit to either his health or wallet.
It's kind of what it comes down to, is like, do I care about my health or what?
Unfortunately, the fallout from the overdose took a toll on more than just his career and well-being, but also his personal relationships. Due to his refusal to seek professional treatment for his substance dependence, Clavicular's PR manager decided it was best to resign until he started taking his health more seriously. The next person to walk out of Clavicular's life were his friends, Wonder and Androgenic, after they got blamed for allowing the overdose to occur. In response, Wonder came out with a video explaining what happened that night from his perspective. He claimed that his former friend did everything on purpose to go viral.
Sitting in my room and I'm like, bro, Clav did this on purpose. Clav did this on purpose. He did it on purpose. Because it all made sense to me. All the fucking stars aligned. I'm like, he knows how potent this is. The answer he gave me to why he didn't dose it is because he didn't want to get his fingers sticky if it accidentally dropped away. And he drank all of it, knowing how potent it is. He didn't stream for 2 days, and he waited for it to arrive that day. He was plotting maybe that. And the Bacara openings tomorrow, he knows this will go viral because he knows that the group he's with doesn't understand that him passing out is not him ODing, it's really just him passing out and that he'll be completely fine. So he knows they'll call the ambulance, and he knows that he'll be fine in the morning and ready to stream Bacara.
Wonder also stated that while he was the one supplying him with substances, Clavicular was the one who intentionally went overboard, something that Wonder alludes to happening very often.
Essentially, I got blamed for supplying Clav with stuff when all that really happened is Clav asked me for a website and I gave it to him. Now, should I have gave him the website? No, because I've seen Clav's past. I've seen him f***ing crash a car on Backlefin.
According to Wonder, Clavicular wasn't the one who kicked them out, and he even felt excited about the prospect of having the incident go viral. It was his manager, David Wept, who felt Wonder and Androgenic were a bad influence.
Clav never kicked me, so I remember going in Clav's penthouse, and I remember sitting down there, and Clav came down. I remember telling Andrew, I'm like, bro, when Clav wakes up from ODing, which he just passed out, I told everybody, he's gonna be so excited seeing it go viral, because that's kind of what he wanted or whatever. And Andrew was like, no way. Clav came down, and he's like, oh my God, did you guys see? It's all over. And I remember David Wept walked by, and I was talking to Clav, I'm like, yeah, bro, Clav, they all thought you OD'd. It was so obvious you just passed out. And David was like, yeah, well, tell that to the nurses who said he was gonna die. And I'm like, bro, David, the nurses don't know shit.
Considering Clavicular's history with substances and his team not wanting to question his lifestyle, it didn't take much to convince users that Wonder was telling the truth about being used as a scapegoat. Wonder sounds correct. Clav has always been a druggie. He used to take his grandmother's meds to get high, he had a DUI incident from drinking and taking drugs at his job, bragged about doing coke in his job, drinking every day, etc. Not surprising, Clav's team wants to blame everyone but Clav. They are dependent on him. What makes this even worse is that Clavicular was not just cutting off his friends, but his family as well. On numerous occasions, Clavicular's parents have tried to intervene in his life and get him to stop abusing substances, but he either doesn't take them seriously,
Bro, why is my mom fucking giving me shit about doing drugs? Like,
I think the area is on. I'm not sure.
Alright, I'm gonna call. Mom!
Yes?
Why are you giving me shit about doing drugs? I'm on live. Hung up on me, bro.
Your mom loves you.
The tablet on the wall.
Your mom loves you.
Was that TTS?
The climate on the left.
Yeah, bro, it's like...
Then on the bottom, the snowflake.
or justifies it as something that helps him make money.
My dad said full-blown drug addict, sad. My dad said that. Oh, Dad. Dad, I'm making money. What the f*** do you want me to do?
Sometimes, Clavicular even interprets their concern for him as contempt, as seen when his father tried to get him to rest after being on stream for extended periods of time.
I'm asking you
dead. I'm trying to make money.
Who cares about money? I don't want you to die.
I care about money.
Alright, well, if you die making it, I don't know who's going to spend it.
Well,
just get some sleep, right? We're just concerned about you, okay?
yeah.
We're not being a pain in the ass, we're just concerned about you.
No,
Okay, that's wrong.
it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I know I shouldn't be up for 2 days in a row. This is the first time I've ever done that. But I've never.
We're just concerned about you, that's all.
No, you're not concerned about me. You're threatening me. You're like, oh, I'm gonna turn off your phone service and all this shit. It's like,
now that their worst fears had come true, Clavicula's parents wanted to be there for their son, but he completely shunned them in favor of keeping up with his work as a club promoter. The club that Clavicula was neglecting his family to promote was the Bacara club in Miami. It's been in business since 2024 and is owned by Cece and Highwhack 9. Remember those names, as they'll be important in a moment. In March 2026, Whack 100 announced that he'd be starting a club primarily for IRL streamers with Clavicular. Even though he didn't mention it by name, he was likely referring to the Bacara club.
I got Clav a club.
A club? What, like a deal to go there, or?
No, I got he can go to the clubs, but I got him a club.
To own?
Yeah.
An entire club?
Named it and everything.
What's it called?
Club Stream. Gonna be the first club where you can come in streaming. It's permitted.
Following the club's launch party, Clavicular claimed to be the owner and flexed the fact that they supposedly made over $1 million in the opening week. Despite what Clavicular wants everyone to think, he was just a promoter and the real owners of the club were the ones pulling all the strings. They can even be seen meeting with Clavicular during one of his streams.
Basically, your foreskin is taken from you at birth and you gotta restore it with like tape and shit.
That's when you're Jewish, they catch you wee-wee.
Exactly.
Do you wanna, well, you don't even know if I have foreskin or not.
Yeah, well, you're American.
Yeah?
What does that mean? He's
so
Jewish.
You probably don't.
You're Jewish.
Like, what? I don't understand.
You know why Jewish people get circumcised?
I had a question.
We want everything 20% off.
On the surface, none of this information seems important. However, when you look at Highwhack 9's criminal record as an Israeli mobster, you'll begin to connect some dots. High, along with his brother, have an extensive history of criminal activity like racketeering, violent assaults, and money laundering within and outside the Jewish communities of Florida, New York, and a number of other US states. Maybe that explains why Clavicular was willing to risk his health and sanity to be present at the club's grand opening. If he was indeed making deals with Israeli mobsters, it wouldn't be a good idea to bail out of them because he got wasted the night before.
in the hospital, like, you know, what are you gonna do, like, after you leave? And I was like, dude, I got the club grand opening. And they were like, oh, I don't think you should go. I think you should take it easy, rest. I was like, dude, you gotta be on the grind. So that's still happening.
Regardless of the terms of their deal, the deal worked out for both sides. The Israeli mob owners made money, and Clavicular got to look like a successful creator who owned a club. Clavicular's obsession with keeping up false appearances permeated every facet of his career as a creator. He'd even go as far as artificially inflating his online visibility to maintain relevance. Whenever Clavicular would create a controversial moment, he'd pay clippers to push it, regularly putting his life on the line became something he was willing to risk if it meant one extra viral clip. Everyone hating, but as predicted, the clip went giga-viral. To put into perspective just how much Clavicular relies on clippers, he's got over 1,000 clippers to make videos about his streams, and has generated over 2 billion views across 70,000 videos.
March to April, so just a few days ago, you can see our #1 guy here, Clavicular, who you may have heard of. You may have been like, this guy just exploded. I see videos of him everywhere. What's going on? I never searched for this dude. What's happening? Has generated over 2.2 billion, with a B, billion views in a single month. He has 69,000 videos. He has 1,610 paid clippers.
Apparently, someone was funding Clavicular's clipper campaigns with budgets in the hundreds of thousands.
Like, how expensive is this campaign to run? Like, how crazy are we talking here? Well, it's going to be about 31,700 views on average because we're just taking the 2.2 billion and we're dividing it by the 70,000. And you get paid if you aggregate 100,000 views. You don't get paid if your total clips are below that. So there will be some percentage of people that just don't get paid. But I think the majority do. But let's say that like in a situation, just to give you an idea, where even like in a crazy number where like 70% of the views are free, which I think it's probably closer to like 20% or 30%. The math on it is it would cost $666,371 a month.
Based on what Clavicular has said before, it looks like Kick was behind the campaign. But these days, Kick doesn't seem to be spending nearly as much on propping up his career as they once did.
Who's making the storyline? Is it the Clippers? Is it you? Is it like a big team?
Well, yeah, we have a pretty good clipping budget from Kick that has even been into the 7 figures for certain months. I believe the first month I streamed, in December, I think it was a 7-figure clip spend from Kick. So yeah, that's kind of why the virality's been good. And
the people running these campaigns have gone after Clavicular's Instagram before, back when he didn't pay them properly, and it looks like it just happened again. Unfortunately for them and for Clavicular, the pool of clippable content would shrink further, as both of Clavicular's YouTube channels got banned in late April 2026, with a tweet reading, "My YouTube channels were terminated this morning with no warning or explanation. Me and my team worked hard to ensure we followed YouTube's TOS very strictly, blurring out all inappropriate language and sensitive topics. Could you please help in recovering my accounts?" That part about strictly following YouTube's TOS wasn't entirely true. Back in 2025, YouTube had banned Clavicular's first YouTube channel for linking to, quote, websites that violate the platform's illegal or regulated goods or services. According to a YouTube representative, the recent terminations were a result of ban evasion. Around the same time Clavicular was losing part of his career, users started questioning who was behind giving him such a huge platform to begin with.
Whistleblower sources, Teal is also personally invested in signal boosting friend of the show, Braden Clavicular Peters. This support and Clav's rapid viral rise makes total sense. Teal has made a number of strange statements about the future of humanity.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions.
He seems to have a vested interest in creating a post-humanist, technologically transformed future wherein real people like you and I cease to exist in our flesh form, instead living on as immortal creatures up in the cloud.
Yeah, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body.
In the past, people had speculated that the CEO of Palantir was backing Clavicular in some way, and there's reasonable evidence to support that theory. Teal initially tried to make contact with Clavicular by inviting him to his mansion for a party.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is?
Peter Thiel, yeah. He's a billionaire that owns Palantir.
I got invited to a Peter Thiel party. You think that's gonna be a Diddy party? Probably.
Whew. Billionaires, they get a little creepy.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't want to get diddied.
Hey, anybody that's working a lot after they make like $100 million has some mental issues.
Well,
you want to run around, don't do a penalty shootout?
I mean, anyone who makes a lot of money like that, $100 million, has something wrong with them.
Yeah.
During one of his streams, a user named P loaned him over $100,000, and after responding to the message, Clavicular made a rather strange expression at the camera.
I got P. I got you. P loaned me $150,000 for the car.
Later on, Clavicular started responding rather defensively whenever anyone mentioned him having some sort of connection to the tech billionaire. A good example of this was when the creator Michaela LaLuz and asked him whether or not he was being backed by Teal.
Speaking of fake stuff, is it fake news that Peter Thiel backs you?
That is fake news, yeah.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No.
What was it like getting contact by that type of person?
It wasn't direct, so it was just through a mutual. I just thought it was funny, so I rolled with it for about a week, and I guess Clippers believed it. I was like, I think I claimed that I worked for Peter Thiel or something.
You did.
Yeah, so there was that, and then people kind of, carried that for a little bit, so.
When pressed on the subject further, Clavicular started accusing her of being sponsored by Thiel.
I was told that you actually work for Peter Thiel.
Me?
Yeah.
You're lying.
Well, that's because all of the Thiel associates follow you on X.
Who are the Thiel associates?
The people from the fashion stuff. It's been speculated, so that's kind of what it seems like, is that, you were actually Thiel funded.
Immediately after that interview went live, Sneeko decided it was his turn to ask Clavicular some questions on the matter.
So how are they funded by Peter Thiel?
There's just connects between that group and Thiel, funded projects,
Right. I want to go find that direct. That would be good to know. Okay, yeah, here we go. I have a tweet pulled up saying, yes, Remedial Corporation has received grants from Thiel Foundation. Okay. Yeah, Grok confirms it, so.
Yeah, right. And people were saying you just made that up. No, I didn't make that up. That's the stuff that Nick was talking about the other day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that bitch is a piece of shit. So I'm glad I got her $15,000 and I embarrassed her on live.
Based on how much he prioritizes looks, people assume Clavicular was some sort of vector for Thiel's transhumanist ideals. While there isn't any concrete evidence to know whether this is the case or not, it was a very sensitive topic for Clavicular. Although, considering all the trouble he was getting into, maybe Clavicular could use the backing of a billionaire. On the 29th of April 2026, Clavicular's ex-girlfriend, Alexandra Alora Mendoza, filed a civil lawsuit against him, alleging that he deceived, assaulted, and performed an illegal medical procedure on her. According to the court documents, Alora and Clavicular met online when they were 16 and 19 respectively. Around May 2025, Clavicular paid her $1K to make looks-maxing content for him. As an aspiring creator, Alora took the opportunity to work with someone much larger than her very seriously, and would go the extra mile to further their partnership. Clavicular was aware of that dynamic and allegedly took advantage of it. He showered her with promises to help her grow her online presence and make her the quote female face of looks-maxing. After making about 4 videos, Clavicular invited Alora to his house. Upon arriving, he allegedly offered her excessive amounts of alcohol. Even though his mother and grandmother were present and aware of the situation, they didn't stop Clavicular from serving her vodka in his bedroom until she was intoxicated. While she was drunk, Clavicular allegedly assaulted her multiple times. Around 6 months after that incident, the pair crossed paths in Miami while Alora was out with her friends at a networking event. Just like before, Clavicular played into the idea that he could still make her a prominent creator and offered the group to come to his house for a streaming session. On their way there, Alora claimed Clavicular had offered her a white substance that he and his friends were snorting at a Tesla charging station. By the time they got to the apartment, Clavicular was allegedly making several advances at Alora and dangling the promise of helping her online presence in front of her when she refused said advances. He eventually got her into his bedroom and started a Kick live stream. Clavicular proceeded to inject Alora several times in both her cheeks with the fat-dissolving chemical Aqualix. The stream in question was from late 2025 and clips from it went viral at the time, so there was no denying it. Clavicular had knowingly administered an unapproved substance without a medical license of any kind to a minor who couldn't give consent to the procedure.
I hear you got the plug for those fresh Stacy's. Hit me up, nigga. I'm chilling here in Tel Aviv if you ever want to party.
Chat, we're looks-maxing her. It's all good. Dr. Clav? Yeah.
For the next couple of months, the two of them allegedly met up a few more times, and each time, Clavicular allegedly offered her drinks as they would attend various clubs in the Miami area. At some point, he even signed Alora to a $15K a month sponsorship from a trading platform, and it seemed like he was really trying to better her career. However, when Clavicular allegedly got suspicious that she'd exposed him for assaulting her, it's claimed he started discrediting her publicly, which caused Alora to lose her previous sponsorships. The entire lawsuit painted Clavicular out to be a reckless teenager who used his clout, money, and platform to take advantage of women and conduct potentially dangerous looks-maxing experiments on them. As a result, Clavicular was charged with battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud, and unauthorized publication of her name and likeness. In addition to this, Alora's attorney specified that they wanted him to pay for damages caused, and stated that the case should go through a jury trial. After the news of the lawsuit began making the rounds online, Clavicular's attorney, Steve Kramer, made a statement calling the allegation unproven and stated he would vigorously defend himself. Considering his less than favorable reputation, most online users see the allegations in the lawsuit as something that Clavicular would do and aren't giving him the benefit of the doubt, while the more skeptical among them view this situation as an angry ex trying to get a settlement from the lawsuit. In that stream, she was 17 and Clav was 19, but she told him on camera that she was 18, so she lied to him. Also, in that same stream, she willingly asked Clav for alcohol. Then she flirted with him, constantly touched him sexually, and kissed him consensually. Everything in her accusations are lies. Whether the allegations were valid or not remains to be proven in court. However, what we do know is that Clavicular hasn't gotten a handle on his newfound fame, and is just doing whatever he wants without thinking about the consequences. Even if he's able to successfully defend himself in the lawsuit, there's no way to tell if another one of his previous partners would come out with more damning allegations. He's already facing 2 criminal legal cases from girls in his past, and who's to know how they'll turn out for his career. If either one of them gets a guilty conviction, it could open up the floodgates to even more legal cases. By the 15th of May 2026, Clavicular's trigger-happy antics in the Everglades had come back to haunt him. In court, he took a plea deal that resulted in 6 months probation, 20 hours of community service, and a mandatory firearms and wildlife safety course. The court further specified that those hours of community service couldn't be monetized or streamed in any way. While that might not sound like much of a punishment, one of those conditions could wreck Clavicular's life if he gets careless. Having that 6 months of probation on his record means that if he breaks any other laws in the near future, he'd be going behind bars for a full year. This means that Clavicular is either going to have to tone down what he does on stream and abstain from his controversial tendencies, or risk not streaming at all. To add insult to injury, Clavicular had to contempt all of this while getting brutally mogged by the judge giving him the sentence. Despite how briefly Clavicular has been an influencer, he seems to have built up a laundry list of controversies and bad publicity, from instigating conflicts between people in his personal life to endangering both his life and the lives of those around him. Clavicular just can't keep himself out of trouble. He intentionally does the most irrational things on stream to get a reaction out of people, pays clippers to promote it, then lines his pockets from promoting vices. This pattern is behind almost everything Clavicular does on stream. He farms proactive clips with OF girls because he gets a cut of their subscription revenue. He makes a fool of himself in clubs to promote them, and he acts like a degenerate to stay relevant. As long as it'll make a viral clip, Clavicular would go along with it. But how long will that strategy last before he wrecks his life permanently? He knows what he's doing is wrong and hates every moment of streaming, but stomachs it for the sake of making more money.
Be honest, you don't like streaming? Of course not. I hate every single second of it. Alright? I hate literally every single second that I'm live. I hate my community. I hate
just tipped $1.
I hate every single one of you.
Go to a crowded
I hate everyone in the chat.
Tomahawk at someone's head.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely. I do hate streaming.
At the end of the day, it seems Clavicula's deadly sin isn't pride in maxing out his appearance, but his limitless lust for money. While that has certainly made his career a profitable one, it also might be what makes it a very short one. Whilst working on this video, there have been a few updates. After the overdose in April, Clavicular made a decision that, on paper, should have been the start of a redemption arc. He swore off every substance he'd been leaning on, and that included the testosterone he'd reportedly been taking since the age of 14. For a guy whose entire brand was built on optimization, going clean should have been the ultimate flex. Instead, it did the opposite. It exposed just how little of the Clavicular was ever real. By late May, the before and after photos were everywhere, and the change was impossible to miss. The big, hard physique he used to flaunt in front of millions had shrunk down to something soft, thin, and pretty average. The guy who sold the dream of the perfect body had basically lost his own. We don't even have to guess how he built it either, because he'd already told us back in February. In an interview with New York Times, Clavicular listed the whole stack: testosterone, Accutane, retatrutide for weight, and a bunch of other compounds on top. He also admitted that 6 years on TRT had left him infertile, and the mockery was relentless. He's not going to live long. Let's call it death maxing. This fella Clav went from Hulk Hogan to Quagmire in record time. Clavicular after stopping steroids. Most people would step away from the camera after getting humiliated like that, but Clavicular did the opposite. If he couldn't out-train the criticism, he'd just fix it surgically on stream. On the 3rd of June, Clav went on Kick and streamed his own nose job from start to finish, with a stream titled First Ever Live Streamed Rhinoplasty, featuring Dr. Miami. For about 2 hours, thousands of people watched a surgeon work on his face live. That surgeon was Dr. Michael Saltzhauer, the celebrity guy known online as Dr. Miami, and somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people tuned in to watch. While he operated, he explained to the chat that he was narrowing Clavicular's slightly uneven nostrils toward what he called the perfect beauty standard, and the whole thing went fine with no complications. Reactions, however, were split between people who were fascinated and those who were grossed out that cosmetic surgery was now just content. The next day, Clavicular posted a recovery update saying that he was healing fast and could almost breathe again. Here's the funny part though. Nobody was talking about his nose. He'd just streamed a major surgery to thousands of people, and all anyone wanted to talk about was the body he'd lost. He fixed his face and still couldn't pull the attention back to it. The shrunken physique was the story now, and nothing he did to his nose was going to change that. While Clavicular was busy rebuilding his face, the empire around him was quietly coming apart too. On the 6th of June, Clavicular posted a video to X stating that he no longer had anything to do with Bacara and that he'd sold his shares. He wasn't sentimental about it either. He tried to play it cool and said he didn't care about Bacara anymore, that he'd already made his money and flipped it, and also took a shot at the club by asking if people really thought it could work without him.
I don't give a shit about Bacara anymore. I already made my bag. I flipped those shares. It is funny though, because like they thought that me not being there would like the club like just immediately come on.
But remember what we found earlier, Clavicular was never actually the owner. He was a promoter. He was the face of the business, while the Whack Nines ran things behind the scenes. So this story he's telling now, the smart guy who cashed out on top, doesn't really add up. He hinted at some bigger move beyond Miami, but gave no details, and never said what he actually walked away with, if anything. If I was to take a guess here, and this is completely speculative, I would say the Israeli mob club owners potentially started seeing Clavicular as a liability and forced him out of the business while allowing him to save face by claiming he cashed out. Either way, the result is the same. The club he risked his health, his safety, and his relationship with his family to be a part of isn't his anymore. And then there's the detail that pretty much sums him up. Right as everything was collapsing, Clavicular got caught buying fake Instagram followers. After everything you've just watched, that shouldn't surprise anyone. The clip is on payroll, the campaign's worth hundreds of thousands, the popularity was fake from day one. Buying followers isn't some new low. It's just the same thing he's always done on a platform we hadn't looked at. And that's really what this whole story comes down to. The body was fake, the numbers were fake, the ownership was fake, and in the space of a single month, all of it started falling apart at the same time. Clavicular spent years telling people they could engineer their way to a better life, but in the end, he kind of proved his own point, just not the way he wanted to. He built a fake version of himself, and now everyone's watching what's left when you take all of that away.